Borderline personality disorder and God. Or believes in God. Or magic. Um, Now, recently, following a very bad mental health crisis, following an accident, I've still got that little dent that poured a lot of blood and it dented the pavement. Well, it put a big crack in the pavement when I fell over. And following a bad weekend, I've decided I am the gunslinger because it's important to me in my mental health, but in moving forward in life. You've seen me in my white t-shirt, white shirt with the black waistcoat, and though I'm not changing clothes on a daily basis to present a personality, today I am definitely more Walter, the man in black, the sorcerer. Don't breathe, disappear. Than I am a gunslinger. Bang, bang, bang! I have no need for anger today. I have found a way to, at least for today, let it evaporate. And that's good. It helps me to think clearly and to move forward. And I hope this microphone can pick up my voice because I believe I am talking quietly, and I hope so. I know sometimes I can't tell how loud my voice is. But the Bible. Before we get into anything heavy, before I actually open it to a page, let's just start with the New Testament rules, because Jesus in here sums up the New Testament, summed up the Old Testament. I give you 2 commandments. Love the Lord your God with all your might, with all your heart, with all your soul. Love everyone as you would have them love you. But in the Old Testament, it does say an eye for an eye. Now, context. When I was 5, my Uncle Peter, my mum's brother, got married. And at the party that took place after his wedding in a large Boy Scout hut adjacent to the Catholic Church, through the party I was introduced to family the same age as me, family, children from our family in Ireland, Tipperary, that part of Ireland. And my Uncle Peter, like me, had no friends. And the day before his wedding at work, hey, I'm getting married, it's a party, everyone's welcome. I don't need to have been there to know that's how he invited people to his party, because for the only party I ever had, my 50th birthday party, that's what I did. I had no friends. And I went to work and said, I'm having a birthday party, you're all invited. But I knew that because it's Christmas, they would have their plans all ready to spend with family. But back when I was 5, my Uncle Peter, well, his best man wasn't exactly his first, his second or third choice. And that was more, look, it's 50 quid if you just stand in and wear the suit. So my Uncle Peter's best man, Uncle Brian. No one even knows who Uncle Brian was. He certainly wasn't related to the family. He came from Uncle Peter's work. Uncle Peter worked in the canteen at the Daily Mirror. That's all he did. He wasn't a journalist. He wasn't important. He served people their chips and their teas and their coffees, much like I've done the last few years. To cut a long story short, starting from that party, Uncle Brian groomed me and a boy the same age, a new cousin, John. Uncle Brian groomed both of us from that day over the next few weeks. Comics, Coca-Cola, chocolate bars. Yep, for a 5-year-old kid, that was our price. We didn't know what we were being bought for, but no one buys us comics or chocolate bars or Coca-Cola. So, yeah, we took the comics and the chocolate bars and the Coca-Cola. Tonight, there is an important football match. Scotland ain't in it. There's some other team I've never heard of. England, I don't know. I don't even watch football. But one of these trips with my Uncle Brian, he did take us to our very first, for me, it was my first live football match at a proper football match. And we didn't get to see the football match because he spent most of the time with us in a cubicle in the toilets, introducing us to games, secret special games, which I ain't going to go into. Everything culminated on a Saturday. My cousin and I had been told we're going camping. Yeah, never been camping. Just like Action Man, just like Boy Scouts, just like real family. And Uncle Brian picked us up in his car, drove us to an ordinary looking house. It was bedsits in a ordinary looking street. And right, we're just going in there to get the sleeping bag and the tents, and 2 little boys rushed in there without a second thought. For the rest of that day, the big guy in the sky, he either turned away because he couldn't watch and witness the horror that took place, or even worse, he watched in glorious Technicolor detail, remembering, writing down every crime, every sin. Right? You Christians spent all your life telling me God works in mysterious ways. Everything we go through, there's a reason for us to go through it, even suffering. Sorry, those arguments are not good enough for what I went through. Other children have gone through worse. Since man walked this earth and first was violent and then took what man wanted because his violence gave him license to. You may say God works in mysterious ways. You may say we never will understand God and God's ways. I disagree. That's your excuse for covering up crimes that you don't want to speak about or to admit to or accept responsibility for. That's fine. That's your conscience. But don't come to me and ask me to accept God. Your God, I'm sorry, it's beneath me. You call him a God of love. I don't. I saw no love in what happened when I was being raped. I've never had an angel touch my shoulder and heal me of my hurts from nearly 50 years ago. I'm 53, so that's 48 years ago that happened. And at this time of year, slightly earlier, knowing my family, my Uncle Peter probably got married as close as he could to St Patrick's Day, March the 17th. We come from a Catholic family. That is an important date in our calendar, especially as it's a date when we can drink as much alcohol as we want, and it's all in good fun. It's what God would want. I take up magic. Okay, mind games, my fantasies, my imaginations. Describe it whatever you want. It's no less valid than these books. This book. No, there's 66 books in here. These books. And now, version of a possible reality, a possible truth. This is closer to my version of a possible reality, a possible truth. Nothing in this world makes sense to me. It never has. Those who do not fear to use violence will take what they want. And for reasons I still don't understand, here in the 21st century, we are supposed to be an enlightened country. Us in the third world, we consider ourselves more advanced, more human, more generous, more charitable than most of the world, who have to live through far, far darker, far less prosperous times. Personality disorder and God and belief. I've tried all my life, but I don't believe in God. It's safer that way. I've tried to go to church, and in these last few months ended up upsetting people in the church. And you know what? Serves them right. I asked them to be objective, and they just, we'll pray for you, come to church. That isn't what I meant by objective. I meant leaving God out of it. I need real help in the real world with supporting me and my mental health problems. At no point did I ask for God. I did ask for objectivity, but all they offered is, we'll pray, come to church. I should have known better. That was my mistake, and people are upset and tough. Shouldn't have brought God into the conversation, shouldn't have offered to pray for me, should have listened and been objective. But that's okay. Wow, only 12 minutes. Right. I am a loner. I have always been a loner. The fact is, I feel safer alone. Here, in my flat with my two cats, they don't beat me up, they don't threaten me. Sometimes I feel scared that I am shouting at them, especially my youngest, who is really starting to come out of his shell. But I know that's just me letting out stress, letting out poison and anger. And they're used to me shouting. I never hit them. These past few months since I've been ill, I've allowed them into my bedroom on a full-time basis. I used to keep the door shut and would only let them in to sleep on my bed with me as I slept. But now they're allowed in all the time. My cats are more important to me than people, not because I'm antisocial. I have been hurt when I was young. Children around me, adults around me, only gave me cause to distrust and to fear. And don't need them. Never needed them. Been told all my life I'm antisocial. You need friends. You must have friends. If you don't have friends, that's bad. Well, it's not. It really isn't. I'm 53. I have only once lost my temper and been attacked another person. I was 12 years old. There was a 2-minute incident in which I did lose control and attacked another child in that children's home. He wet himself laughing because I had never been a tough guy. He was younger than me and only had to wait for the next week for his big brother to come back from boarding school and beat me up. And so he was not hurt. He did not even have his pride hurt when he wet himself in front of everyone because I'm an idiot. And that's fine. I've never been violent, Sometimes I would like to be. Sometimes people decide they want to threaten me and want to just square up with them big muscles, or like that drunk on the street bench the other day. Look, if I'm in my headphones and I've got my sunglasses on, I really don't want to be disturbed. If you're just a useless drunk who's just going to give me tobacco, why? I give to homeless people. You ain't homeless. You just can't be bothered and you expect their handout. Now, if I'm in my music, you can see my headphones are on. You know what? Don't bother me. If I just dismissively, it's because I'm listening to my music and I don't want to be disturbed. So if you're just a useless drunk on a park bench, hey, I'm a drunk, but I ain't useless. And I had not had to hold my hand out. I can sell stuff. I can play a guitar and sing badly. But I don't hold my hand out. Never needed to. And real homeless people don't need to hold their hand out. Especially to me. I may well be homeless again, so I am sensitive and I care. And when I can afford to, I give freely. But if you're just some drunk holding your hand out, right, when I dismissed you, don't get angry, just accept it. This guy, the other day, he was upset, thinks he's going to come shouting and swearing at me. And because I was forced to remove my music, now I'm angry with him shouting at me. I'm just very plainly pointing out my big bottle of vodka that I'm placing into my backpack. And I'm saying, you come near my vodka, I'm going to hurt you. Now shush and walk away. Although less polite. Borderline personality disorder and God. I've tried, but I don't believe in God, and I am never going to believe in God. If my only way to get through this world is to play mind games and role-play games with my characters in books, if it works, it works. If it don't, I'll find a different way to get through. But what I ain't going to do is rely on people in the real world, whether friends or whether God. One day I will die, and I ain't in a hurry, and I ain't scared. I've got nothing to answer for. I believe in my soul. I don't know if I have a heart, I don't care. I probably have an organ, but it's not the same as the heart-shaped thing that we symbolise when we say the word heart. But I know I have a soul, and my soul, my conscience, I do sleep like a baby when I sleep, because there's nothing on my conscience. And if I'm wrong when I die, and there is a big boy in the sky wanting to bully me, wanting to point any fingers at me and asking me to answer for sin, well, you know what? I'm going to have questions of my own, and I've been keeping a record. I've been keeping lots of records with price tags. When I put a rope round my neck 2 weeks ago, you know what? I don't need to bring that down to pounds and pence. It has a different kind of price. If there's a God, well, he's going to have to spill his blood for me to drink. That's his price for the stuff I went through. If I'm wrong and God's true, I don't believe there is a God, so none of that is going to happen. That's just a fantasy. But for other people, if you believe in God and it helps you, cool. I have no, here's a camera, I have no problem with that. I really don't. Just don't come to me offering me God. All I can offer you back is contempt and offensive language, because I don't need God, don't want God. You may believe your God is a loving God. Hasn't been proven to me. I have learned that through Facebook, through interests in books, both Stephen King and Terry Pratchett, but other books as well. I read loads of books. I have found friends and even family on Facebook through my love of books. And as far as friends, as far as family, as far as God is concerned, that's enough for me. In the real world, my real world, I've only had friends because I was told they were important. Well, they're not. Not to me. They just cause more stress. And I'm through with that. I tried to believe in God and I don't. I don't condemn others for their beliefs. Just don't throw them at me. Don't offer them to me in a hope that I will be nice and polite and accept them. My borderline personality disorder. My belief in God ain't to do with any illness. My belief in God is to do with being very violently raped when I was 5 years old by a man who did what he did because he didn't care about being violent to little children and he thought it was his right to use us for his pleasure. That's why I am like I am. Maybe some part of me was born this way, I don't know. Psychiatrists suggest it's maybe hereditary, which means that part of me was born this way. What happened at 5 is but one little stone in the ocean of a lot of stuff that I and my younger sister went through as children. Yeah, I have a borderline personality. Yeah, I suffer from depression, and yeah, that depression will get really bad often. What happened a couple of weeks ago ain't new. It ain't the first time, and it won't be the last. The end of this year, 2021. My birthday is 2 days before Christmas. Believe me, December, January is a bad time for me. No friends, no family, no birthday cards, no Christmas cards, no Christmas presents, birthday presents. I've only ever had one birthday party, my 50th. Only 2 people came. And I knew only those 2 people would come. Because no one cares about me. And that's fine. I don't need people to care about me. I care about me just fine. Happy meditating. And for those who are really stuck in bad depression, I wish you well on your journey. Me, when my depression's bad, I can only ride it through. I will play music that makes me feel worse. Maybe that music may make me feel better. But until the worst of it is over, it's just a wait and see. Whoa. So, in all seriousness, for those of you out there who are in really bad depressive ruts, really bad, dark images, dark thoughts, just hang in there. Keep riding through. There is a different way. I don't know if it's better. I'll find out. I don't expect my way to ever lead to happiness. I don't believe happiness exists for me in terms that I can understand, and that's fine. I'm a lot older now, and I accept that. I am happy in my loneliness because I'm safer there. Don't need God. Don't need people in the real world. So-called friends around me who place restrictions, obligations on that friendship. I don't mind give and take. That's how the world works. But I am through with giving, and being everyone else's punch bag. lived all my life being a punch bag because I've been too scared to say anything else because I just get punched harder. Had enough. No more punch bag. No more friends. No more God. Happy, meditating, right through that depression. Hope can sometimes be the coolest thing there is, because when hope is never realised, everything, the whole world, the whole of existence just becomes that little bit darker, and the sound of thunder ever more dark, deep and malevolent, hinting of the darkness ahead. Just keep pushing through, keep riding that wave, and you will get to somewhere different, hopefully somewhere better. I wish you every success on that journey. Happy meditating.